Hello dear students, I welcome you to the another lecture and very interesting lecture of physical pharmaceutics first. So in today's lecture we will be discussing the aspects related to drug diffusion and the other diffusion processes which are commonly occurring in the pharmaceutical sciences, what are their relevances, as well as we will be showing you how this diffusion process play a crucial role in biological systems as well. And we will be also seeing the laws governing the diffusion process, that is the Fick's first law and Fick's second law of diffusion. And finally we will be ending this lecture with the small quiz. So let me just tell you what is diffusion. So diffusion is a process in which the movement of particles take place from a region of their higher concentration to a region of their lower concentration. So this solute can be a drug as well as can be a solvent molecule as well. So the mass transfer which we are talking about, it can be of a simple solvent, or it can be a drug which is dissolved in a solvent, that is this drug solution mixture. So let me just take you quickly towards this wonderful diagram. So you can see I have divided a vessel into compartments with the help of a membrane, and the compartment on the right hand side has a larger concentration of drug. You can see this is, yeah, the yellow dots are basically the drugs, and you can see initially the particular B chamber will be having zero concentration of these drug molecule. So ultimately what will be happening, as the time will pass, these drug molecule will be diffusing from the chamber A to the chamber B, and this process will goes on continue until unless both the compartment matches the concentration of the drug equally. Means the system will stop diffusing, means the drug will stop diffusing once both the compartment will be equally diffused with the amount of drug is there. So let me just show you the diffusion phenomena and why we are studying this particular phenomena and why this is important. So whatever the drug we are administering to a particular patient through oral route or through topical administration as well, it needs to be diffused by the plasma membrane. So you can see this wonderful diagram over here. So this is the plasma membrane, it is a lipid bilayer membrane, and it is made up of the hydrophilic portion is on the outer side of the cell, and you can see the lipophilic moiety are just lined inside. Okay, so the condition is that after means the drug which is there in the formulation, it dissolves out from there and it enters into the means this system, and from there it needs to be absorbed. So it can only be absorbed if it is following a diffusion phenomena. So it means it can be absorbed by a simple diffusion process, means the drug having higher concentration on the outside environment will be transported directly into the cell, that is the inside of the cell, and it can also be transported with the help of some carrier proteins. So this is the carrier. So these type of process will only be taking place once there is availability of carrier proteins. So similarly another process is there which is known as active transport. So this active transport requires some need of energy because it is against the concentration gradient. So remember, the concentration was highest on the outside and was it means initially was 0 and then it was gradually increasing inside the cell. So as the time will pass, more and more drug will enter into the system, that is the cell, but certain transporter proteins are there which have the functioning of effluxing out the drug from the cell, and sometimes this also leads to multi-drug resistance. You will be understanding this in great depth in pharmacology lectures, what is multi-drug resistance and how these transporter protein basically work in developing that multi-drug resistance. So Let us see how and where we will be applying this diffusion phenomena in pharmaceutical sciences. So the release and the dissolution of drug from tablets, powders, and granules is basically governed by the diffusion process, as well as the lyophilization, ultrafiltration, and other mechanical processes are also very much relevant with relation to the this diffusion process. So, also the release of the drug from the semi-solid dosage form is governed by diffusion phenomena, as well as mutual exchange of gases between the formulation from the outer environment, and sometimes also the diffused drug molecule which are volatile oils or sometimes also present, so they can also diffuse from the packaging if it is not correctly packaged from the packaging to the outer environment. So this also becomes important when one need to study the stability of the pharmaceutical products, as well as we need to control the rate of permeation from the topical formulations, as well as the distribution of drug in living tissues. So this is also important because until and unless the absorbed drug is not distributed throughout the system, it will not be means reaching towards its target site. So another important mechanism is lying over here is the permeation and the distribution of drug molecules in living tissues. So let me just show you this wonderful diagram. So this is a polymeric membrane which we use to obstruct the drug release by the diffusion process. So by this membrane we can just develop extended release formulations. So you can see what does this figure says. The figure depicts the flow of molecule through a physical barrier such as polymeric membranes, and these the passage of matter through a solid barrier can occur by simple molecular permeation or by movement through pores or channels. So the porosity available on this membrane will allow the dissolution medium to enter inside the drug core, and it will take away the dissolved drug from it. So you can see this is another case. In this you can observe there are various pores which are basically there. So diffusion is occurring through this particular channel. So let me just quickly come towards the fixed laws of diffusion. So there are two laws basically. First law says that the diffusion flux is related with the concentration gradient. Higher the drug concentration gradient, higher will be the drug diffusion flux. So how we can relate this with the equation? So the amount m of material flowing through a unit cross section S of a barrier in unit time t is known as the flux. So it is represented by J. So J is equal to dm over S dt. So the flux in turn is proportional to concentration gradient, and it is given by dc over dx. So you can see this equation, J is equal to minus d dc over dx, where minus is representing the release of the drug by diffusion process, and this capital D is representing diffusion coefficient. So you can see the D is represented as diffusion coefficient of penetrant, that is the drug, also called as the diffusant, and its unit is centimeter square per second, and C is the concentration of the drug in gram per centimeter cube, and x is the distance in centimeter of movement perpendicular to surface of the barrier. So let us see this wonderful diagram. What does it tell? So you can see as the time is passing and as we are moving away from the drug core, the flux is basically getting reduced, means the time will tell the drug will be decreasing with the passage of time. So the Fick's law says that the mass m is usually given in grams or moles, and the unit of flux is gram per centimeter square second. So the negative sign, what does it tell? So let me just show you quickly, as I told you. So this negative sign tells us that the diffusion is occur in a direction, that is positive x direction. You can see in this diagram Yeah, so it is in the positive x direction. So, diffusion occurs in direction of decreasing concentration of diffusant, means this is showing that the drug is releasing out from the system. Thus, the flux is always positive quantity. Flux will always be positive. It will never be negative. So, diffusion will stop when the concentration gradient no longer exist, means when both the compartment will be experiencing the same drug concentration, the diffusion process will stop. So now let us see what does the Fick's second law tells us. So as Fick's first law was telling us regarding the concentration gradient and the amount of drug which is getting fluxed, this is relating us the Fick's second law. Let me tell you an equation for mass transport that emphasizes the change in concentration with time. That was the flux, and here is the change in concentration with time at a definite location rather than the mass diffusing across a unit area of barrier in unit time, and this is known as second law. So this is given by dc over dt minus dj divided by dx. So this is the diagram which is representing, you can see this is concentration on the y-axis, and the means barrier is there, that is the represented by the x. So front gradient, you can see the increment in volume. So this is representing the amount of drug which is releasing out per unit of time. So thank you dear students, I hope you understand this wonderful lecture. So in coming lecture we will be discussing the pharmaceutical application of this diffusion process in designing the dosage form.